All right.
I tweeted it. It's live.
You tweeted it. All right. I don't know if we can somewhere we are actually talking to people.
Tell us how you're feeling.
But I don't even know, man. I'm like, on one hand, I'm tilted because I got pulled number 29,111. On the other hand, we're trying to talk about getting tweets out and inform the people. On the third hand, like, I'm just bad with getting packs. So I'm like asking, my smarter tech friends, hey, is this the right thing to do? But then on the other side, my other friends that are far off from the NBA Top Shot thing are texting me questions, and I feel obligated to keep them up to date. So, and look, one of them is FaceTiming me right now. Kyle, I'm live on the podcast right now talking to you.
Oh,
I'm having issues.
All right, we got live issues. All right, what are you seeing? See, this is what I'm saying, people.
This is crazy.
This is what your purchase isn't available at this moment. Please go back. Do not hit the back button. Button.
Let me see what I can do here. So we've got a Slack channel of probably 8 to 10 people.
We're gonna troubleshoot through this with you. So Justin, go to the Slack channel and try to source this out, because we got to the Dapper screen and we got past that, and then we got your purchase isn't available at this moment. Please go back and try again. I know for a fact that we've been here before.
We know you.
I messed it up from this stage because I hit you. Don't go back.
Yeah.
I think you refreshed, but I don't know. Ask one of the other guys, Justin.
Hey, chat. Yeah, let's see what chat says. So we've had some experiences in the past where once you get in, if you get the error once you're in Dapper, people have gone back and then they lost it. We've also had people who said they refreshed and they got it. And then when we tweeted that earlier today, we got some feedback from people. TJ, this is horrible content.
I took screenshots.
I know, this is tough.
I got screenshots over here.
I don't even know. I think
so. We did just get a message that said that the line is paused now. So I wonder if that has an impact.
Okay.
I have that now. The line is paused.
So it seems like things have paused overall. And now it seems like it's just in a waiting period right now. The line is paused. But yeah, Justin, so what are you thinking through here? Yeah, let's reset.
48 hours, because I think it was about 48 hours ago when the series, 2 release 11, we got the actual description, we got the set, we could see what was actually in it. We ran the EV. We had a feeling it probably wouldn't drop that night, because usually it's been about a 24-hour, at least like a next day thing when they put out that release. And I've got to admit, yesterday we had amongst like a group of probably 5-6 people, someone hitting F5 at all points during the day. And when you think back, like there was no chance that it was going to release yesterday. Wasn't even close. Then we get to today, and the fact that we went from just the teases, the 121 minutes from Alan in Discord, pushing it back another hour and a half, keep pushing it back. And then we get to that lobby. And I got to admit, I was texting, I was like, I love this. This is perfect. This is going to work so much better for the future, because it's no longer about just sitting at your computer F5. Now, granted, when these common packs drop, we're not going to know when they are. So that lobby situation may be a little different. It might be like a situation where it's like, hey, you're in line and you'll be in line for the next 20 minutes. And I could see that going across Discord or Twitter, and the amount of people that get in that line ends up still being in the 10,000s. But at least maybe people can go back to their functional lives and actually get some work done and not have us just hitting F5 refresh every 5 seconds. And I think that would be a good thing.
Agreed.
Let's get some numbers out there. So TJ, what number did you pull?
Agreed. Yeah. So I pulled number 29,111, which is not good. When you want to be in the top 25,000, it's not good to be 29,000. I'm just like sweating this out, like as if I still have a chance, even though deep in my soul, I feel like I know I don't, but you never know. People could have issues along the way. I think I'm live right now. It says that there are 12,393 ahead of me in line. So I don't know if that means because so many people have already purchased or so many people have failed out in some way, or I don't know.
There's one kind of there's one thing going on here. We have heard of people who on one account with multiple devices have actually gotten multiple numbers in line. And there's a chance that if that's the case, those are not going to be counted and those lines will be, thrown out once they get to their purchase. Hopefully not many people did that. I actually think that was, something that I think Dapper Labs should be able to identify for the same account. I know that there's always going to be, not always, there are currently issues with people who have multiple accounts because that is not against the rules. And you could get, in line different times there. Now, there was an announcement today that said that there's going to be about a 1 month grace period, but people with multiple accounts will need to converge those to one account. So I think going forward, that should make people a bit more happy when you have these kind of lotteries, these kind of systems where one account is all you get. And then also with regard to challenges and other areas where, if you have that multiple account, you can actually take a little advantage.
Agreed. I think
so
you can see them. Oh yeah.
I have 24,148. So that seems like
Right
a
on
high
the
number,
edge.
but I think anything inside 25 is good. So I'm happy with that. No complaints there. I see Rocky in the chat with a 25,031. Talk about a sweat there.
That's wow, right on the edge. But I think I like your chances
I think so.
when you're in that spot. You just need one person to not be able to execute. This is interesting. But I think to a certain extent, this part of it is fun, right? And this has been enjoyable, but it's not sustainable, right? People have fun doing this once when they end up getting the pack. This can't be the situation every time, but you can tell that they're taking the right steps and trying to get creative in terms of, like you said, not having people have to sit around and feel like, hey, if I go to sleep, I might miss out on the pack drop, or I can't leave my computer, or I can't sit down and have dinner with my family. So I like that they're taking those steps in the right direction. For those of you that didn't see as well, the Top Shot team posted a blog article earlier today, being very transparent about a lot of the issues that they've had. It's a long read, but I think a very important and refreshing read. And you can tell that they're thinking about the right things. They want to make this the best experience possible. And yes, there are some hiccups along the way, but I feel pretty confident that they're going to get through this and they're going to find a way to go about it the right way, in a way that's going to make all of this better for the long term, because this just got started. Like there's many months and years to come of this product. And we got to remember that we're only 2 weeks in and be patient with them. Yeah.
And I think if I'm putting myself in, Top Shot Dapper Labs' shoes, I think there's a couple kind of thoughts here as well. I think this is a test for functionality for the more high demand drops that they're eventually going to have. Primarily, I think the rare. I think the rare packs are going to be at the price point that majority of people feel they can afford it. And it also gives you that level of upside where you can really get a high value card moment. And so I think those are going to be the highest demand. And these, I think, are kind of trying to set up for those to be successful, because as we said, this is not going to be the plan for common packs in the future. Eventually, these common packs just aren't going to be as valuable. They're going to be readily available, and you're not going to need this queue theoretically. But for those rare, and for what we've been getting some hints towards, possibly tomorrow if it went well today, or maybe a little after that, but a legendary. And so to give a little talk about this legendary, what we saw last night is there were some kind of hints about it in the Discord. We saw on Crypto Slam that there were some mints of 30 holo Series 2 cards or moments. So of those 30, 27 of them, there's 99 that have been minted. They are retired, meaning they are no longer being minted anymore. And then there were 3 that are open that have not been retired yet, that have not been minted. And I think those are now going to be the rewards for some of the upcoming challenges around the holo. if we follow a pattern of how they, what the packs looked like in the past, a legendary pack is going to have a combination of some commons, some rares, and one legendary. Having a legendary, we know the price points of legendary from the Series 1 are extremely high. The holos are not as high as the cosmic, but they're still up there. I believe it was who was it who said today about the 10,000 price point is what they were getting user feedback? And I think that's obviously high. But so with the team, they were saying that it wouldn't be outrageous if they went 10,000. That was some of the feedback they were getting. I don't think it's going to be that high. My personal guess is that the price point is going to come around 2,500. It's still a lot of sticker shock. It still prices a lot of people out of the market. And I think they know that, but they want to make sure that, hey, you have price points for all customers. And one of the things that I hear is people are like, hey, why can't we have a rare card or a legendary card? I had to just check to make sure my line. A rare card or legendary card in the common packs. Like, why can't we get a chance? And I think everyone would love that, but it's actually against a regulatory standpoint. And so it is illegal for them to do that because that then turns into a lottery. They can give out moments, and yes, a LeBron is more valuable than someone else, but that's just your assessment of that player. It's still a common. It's still the same amount are being produced. It's a more equitable standpoint. When they start releasing, okay, some are going to have those rare or legendary. Now it turns into that lottery, and that would actually then need a gaming license, and they're not looking at being a regulated agency, being regulated in that form. And I don't think any of us want that.
Agreed. It's tough with these more expensive packs, right? Because on one hand, it's like, yeah, it's a shame that it prices certain people out of the market, but on the other, I mean, those we'll obviously get to the math, but I imagine those packs are going to be super valuable just in terms of the potential that is going to sit in there and what that could go for out on the marketplace. So that's going to be something super interesting to dive into. For those of you that did not see it, made a quick little video on our YouTube channel earlier today explaining exactly how all this works and how we found that information. We're going to keep trying to do that for you guys. We're going to be tweeting out the information itself on our Twitter account. For those people that are just interested in the numbers, we'll get those to you. But then we're also going to try to have some videos where we talk a little bit more behind how we get to that. For those of you that are maybe interested in the next level of what's going on behind the scenes, what are the different things that Justin and I are looking at, and how are we arriving at some of this information that we're bringing to you guys.
Yeah. And I know that a lot of people are interested with the expected value numbers that we've been putting out. And to be honest, for the packs where those moments are already in the marketplace, it's honestly pretty simple. When I'm going to have to start doing projections for what these prices are, this next expected value, I probably won't even give a number. I'll probably give a range because it's going to be a different beast. It'll include, hey, we have to actually take a look at, okay, what are the common, the rares, and that one legendary. The rares and the commons, hopefully I'll have marketplace points that I can actually use as the basis. But the legendary, I'm going to have to really make some assumptions and guesses around what those value are. If you do want to take a look at Teach's video, he can show you, what some of those mints are. And you'll see there is no LeBron. So that removes that possibility of, that, hey, instant 100K or whatever it would be for Series 2. I believe some of the more valuable ones is Jokic, Trae Young, and James Harden are the rewards. So those won't be available either. And then if you look at the other players, you definitely get a variety. They're not all, all-stars, absolute studs. So some people will get their legendary and pay a pretty penny. And I think it may not be a 100% slam dunk win. Now, I think the expected value will probably be, worth it if the price point is at that 2,500. But once again, just as these common packs, the expected value is $40 some. That doesn't mean you're not going to get unlucky and get a couple $2 cards and, moments and, technically, turn into a negative EV further or a negative realized value, even though it was a positive expected value.
Yeah. Shout out to Ryan in the chat. Just pulled together
a
nice little pack with OG, Lonzo, and Ja. That's a nice pull right there. You love to see it. Anyone else in the chat pulling open some superstar packs tonight? We'll look through. Let us know who you got. Thanks for joining us tonight. I do want to remind everyone that tomorrow morning, our time, Justin and I are going to be getting on with Wades.eth, who is one of the OGs of NFTs, of NBA Top Shot. He's been in the streets since I think like the summer of 2020. He's almost been in this for a whole year. He's literally one of the first people to get involved. We're really excited to have him on the show tomorrow. We put it out on our Twitter. He's also giving a very, very generous giveaway of a Series 1 Luka Doncic moment that is currently sitting in my account and will be gifted out to someone. Yeah, if you guys are nice to me, then I'll proceed to gift it out. But no, Wade's was super, super generous to give this away in the giveaway. So in order to become eligible for that, please check out the Twitter. You've got to retweet us. You've got to tag us. You've got to tag Wade's. And you've got to tag Gary V, which I think is a nice little addition by Wade's there. He seems like an awesome guy. I've been DMing back and forth with him on Twitter for the past couple of days, arranging all of this. I don't think the guy sleeps. I mean, he's in Australia. He's based in Australia, for those of you that don't know. And I think any time of the day where I'm looking to DM him, I get an instant response. So the guy's clearly grinding, and I'm really excited for that conversation tomorrow, Justin.
I think that's why we can't get him on video. I think he's just like full and, just doesn't sleep. So he doesn't want us to see just a pile of Red Bulls sitting next to him. And no, it's actually, he's talked about how he only really gets like 3 hours of active time in the marketplace because of his time zone. So it'll be interesting to get, that different perspective.
No doubt. So we're being asked in the chat if we've gotten a pack. I am currently have 8,434 people in front of me in line. So it is not looking good for yours truly. I was originally in the 29,000s. Justin, how about yourself? How's it looking at your chance of getting a pack right now?
So I was originally 24,000 and change. I currently have 3,300 in front of me. So because of that 24 number, I still feel pretty good about it. And then a little teaser. I don't think we want to announce this on Twitter yet. We're going to wait, but a little teaser. If I get this pack, and if I don't, we'll do a different pack, but this pack's actually going to be turned into a reward for a contest that we're going to run around Luka and the Cool Cats. I gotta get some power.
Plugging in the computers here. This is what happens when you decide to jump onto an emergency live stream. Free advertising for Underdog Fantasy right there. Justin Herzig's shirt. Jeremy would be happy.
I mean, they give out really comfortable swag. Like some of the best shirts.
No doubt. We got producer Coop in the background saying that he's got 14,000 people in front of him. So I think he's in trouble. Coop, that doesn't sound good, man.
Well, he had a high number.
I hate to, yeah. So the one thing that I will say is that, yes, it's a shame to get this late in line, but I do think that it speaks well to the market here and the long-term viability, because if you can't get one, if we got people that are 33,000th in line, that means that there's 33,000 people around the world that are actively sitting in front of their computers looking to get these packs. So I think that speaks to the market that's out there. I think it speaks to the people that get involved, get very into it, and want to be sitting by their computers. So I think that's a promising sign if we're thinking about this long term, which I know both of us are.
Yeah. So I agree with that. I do question how many of these people are in it because they know that these are, their value. And I think a lot of it is, hey, I want to get that pack because I can take $9 and turn it into 40 something and maybe even more and get that kind of quick flip. And those are the people who I hope that, they also become more enamored with the site. They become, just collectors. They enjoy it and they'll stay for the long haul. I'm concerned that, when these expected value of these packs is no longer this significant amount and you get to something around $8 or $9, hopefully they will stay. But even if they don't, we know that there are still so many people out there. And it's just crazy how many people have in the past couple days, a week, listened to a couple podcasts of ours, asked me a couple questions, and just been instantly hooked. And then today, one person was asking me, like, who's your target audience? Like, when we have this pod, who are we, trying to reach out to, and who does Top Shot try to reach out to? And I just started rambling off so many different populations. Like, obviously, you have the early adopters who are more on the technology side. You've got the people here now that are into the sports side. You've got people who are hobbyists because the collector. You've got people who want it as an alternative investment, as an asset class. You've got people who are just going to join because the games aspect, when we get the arcade aspect. You've got the fantasy. You've got the kind of just strategy. Like, there's just so many populations that really this appeals to. And I think once we can get by these major pain technical obstacles, I think it's got still such a strong future.
Yeah, definitely. Keeping an eye on the chat here. Kyle's oldie. That was the person that I was FaceTiming with at the beginning of this show, but happy to announce that he did indeed get a pack. So for those of you that get stuck on the processing screen and it seems like your chances are in trouble, I'm pretty sure as long as you do not hit the back button that you will end up being okay.
So do we refresh?
So you refreshed and then failed and then refreshed and then failed, but then eventually got there.
Scary.
But the one time we were doing it and I hit the back button and I did not get it. Yeah. So I learned that lesson. So nobody else because it says, please go back. So I was like, oh, okay. Go back means to go back, but that's not what it meant. It meant to refresh and to continue going forward. So for people out there, I feel like once you get to the Dapper screen, your chances have greatly increased and you've gotten to the point in the queue where you're locked up for a pack. It's just a matter of making sure that you get through those final hiccups.
Right.
And hopefully eventually they're going to make this smoother overall.
How do I boot someone from the show? Because I want to get rid of Brewfella, just rubbing it in right now. Brewfella, let us know in the chat. So did you
go for two? Yeah, hold on a second.
What's your strat here? Did you sign up for one, you get it, and then you just entered new? Did you have multiple windows, multiple computers? Like, what was the strategy here?
Yes, teach me. I would love some lessons.
Only one window. Interesting.
I still have 7,900 people in front of me.
I got 2,900.
I think I might make a video tomorrow. Find somebody I can't make the video myself because I'm not good at getting packs, but find somebody that is good at getting the packs and have them explain to me how you can actively get a pack. And then I will assist them in making a video so that other people can figure this out.
I mean, like, it is interesting because, I trust Brewfella. I have no reason
nice
not
pack
to.
Right here, by the way, Justin, for Nick. Way to go, Nick.
I'll bring that up. Okay, so let's go that first. So, yeah, John Wall, you got a Bam. Okay, that's pretty strong. I'm really bullish on Bam. I mean, obviously such an exciting player as well. But if things with Butler really don't work out in Miami, I think you've got a huge opportunity for Bam to really shine there. We'll see what happens there, but I think there's some murmurs.
Definitely. And Lillard, I would say definitely in that kind of second tier of superstar within the league. I know with John Wall, we've been pretty bullish on him, especially since he went from the 15,000 plus to the 15,000 LE. So yeah. Nice pull there, Nick.
And so that John Wall card, interesting too. I believe that's going to be his first moment because he had none of the Series 1. So even though it is a large amount with that 15,000, I think once it gets that kind of first tag around first moment, if John Wall can become, he's shown a pretty strong start this year, but if he can come back to what he was before the injuries and such, I think that's an underrated card, I would say, moment.
Yeah.
So what I was saying with Brewfella though is, and I have no reason not to trust Brewfella, but if it's, what he's saying is, hey, I did my one window, I got it, and then I went back in line. It's interesting how that would then, propel forward. And so maybe there's some tech issues here. Maybe there was a speed issue. Maybe there's just some glitchy aspects. But, at the end of the day, I think it was overall a fairly smooth experience. Obviously, not everyone's going to be happy. Hopefully, we don't hear any reports of people, ending up with 15, 20, et cetera packs. Okay, 12,000 LE. Nice. Okay, so I wasn't sure when they capped it off, but we knew that they capped it. So good.
Very nice.
All right,
Yeah.
line is paused again. I'm at a little under 3,000.
I see that as well. 7,900 for me. So obviously right now we're in the process of getting a lot more supply pumped back into the system, right? Typically, we would think that more supply means that the prices would go down because of the demand. But I kind of think that this round of supply is a little bit unique because I feel like the market's been pretty stagnant because a lot of people have been waiting around for their packs to drop. And so part of me feels like even though we're going to be getting an influx of supply, that there's the potential that it kickstarts a lot more movement and a lot more activity as people get their packs, are able to sell them, get some profit back, use that in the marketplace. Is that just a gut feel and ungrounded take, or do you think there's any validity to that feeling?
So let's use this as kind of a comparison point. We felt for about 3 days, 2 or 3 days, market kind of just dropping. Now, granted, this was still significantly higher than what it was 2 weeks ago, but we still saw market was leveling off, obviously from that high of 7.5 million traded in that one day. Like it might be a while until we see that level of activity again, but I think we're going to move up there. But last night, when they announced the LaMelo, obviously the cool cap prices all started increasing. But what was interesting is at the same time, we also started seeing the LeBrons, the Stephs, like a lot of the markets all in tandem increasing as well. So almost like that dip was kind of halted, or at least put a temporary stop to, and that many of them turned around when the excitement or maybe the additional confidence with the LaMelo. And I think the LaMelo, honestly, them announcing that was perfect strategy, because you saw the cool cats dropping. People were considering, we did the analysis in the show. People were considering, is it really worth it for the Luka? People are kind of losing excitement, especially the ones who early on already completed their challenge. And so once you hear that, oh shit, LaMelo is going to be the master challenge, that was pretty much the best it could have been. We knew it was going to be a young person. You're getting the rookie, the number one rookie, the favorite for rookie of the year. That's the pinnacle of the moments that it probably could have been. And now all those cool cats, excitement. It also, the people who are collecting that are more motivated to want to continue to stay active and continue to collect throughout this challenge. We can get into a little more later about the Crypto Kitty and with regards to some of these extra cool cat moments that are coming to play, and we can discuss that later. But I think overall, it's going to be an exciting challenge. Remember, and every challenge along the way, the least minted of those is the most that we're going to see of LaMelo. So each time, who knows? And I think I'm still aboard that we think there's going to be around 3,500 minted of this cool cat, but who knows about the future ones? If it's not Luka, maybe it's someone less exciting, and people then, are they willing to complete it just to get the LaMelo at the end, or do they just buy it? Who knows?
Yep. Just acknowledging Rookie's question in the chat here. You actually organically touched on it as well. We had the Crypto Kitty news today. I think I'd say we're still kind of fully digesting exactly what that means. I think right now we don't necessarily have enough information to know exactly what type of impact that's going to have. But I think what it shows in general, both the LaMelo announcement and the Crypto Kitty announcement, and we talked about it in one of our first podcasts, it's that this is a market where there are certain things that are out of our control, and that those things typically will come from the decisions that the NBA Top Shot team and the Dapper Labs team make, with whether it's with the challenges, whether it's with when they release packs, how many packs they release, what they price them at. And to me, I think that that's what makes this exciting, because as we've talked about, the games like poker or daily fantasy sports, where yes, there's a ton of skill and strategy involved, but there's also some randomness and some luck. And those games are where you're going to get the most just buzz generated, right? Because that makes it more fun, right? Whenever you open a pack, you can't control what's in that pack. You could pull a number one mint, or you could pull 3 irrelevant cards. And I think that's the beauty of the potential here with NBA Top Shot, because everybody, I was looking at the tweet that you sent out yesterday, just thinking like, man, it's really cool to think about the fact that you can get a pack and pull a number 1 mint. Yes, I understand that the chances are very slim, but I really did get excited thinking about that possibility. And also right now, it's like, any pack you open there's at least something that you can find enjoyment in and get some value back in the marketplace. I just feel like it's the perfect mix of people that want to take it strategically and very seriously and only think about the dollars. There's room for that. But then there's people that just, want to have a good time, mess around, buy some of their favorite players, wait in line for the packs. And to me, that's what gets me excited about the long-term potential here in terms of the market that it can capture.
Yep, I think that's right. I am pulling up the tweet that you referenced. Let's see. There we go.
Good call.
So this is what we were referencing. This is the pack that we're still waiting in line for. And I did
scroll in a little bit, maybe zoom in. Control scroll in. I've learned that that's one of the things I've learned with my videos is that if you don't scroll in, it's kind of hard to see. There you go.
We're looking there. Okay. Oh, that's good. And we saw this as one of the questions. Let me see who brought that in, so I'm not ignoring. There it is, Evan. Yeah. And so this expected value was pulled from marketplace prices 2 days ago. And so that night, right when it kind of came out, I do still think those are probably fairly accurate. If you compare it to our previous EVs, part of that reason is because I saw that the bases of the cards actually started increasing a little. So you don't really see many of the 1s and 2s anymore. The lowest is really around like that 3, 4, and majority of them are kind of in that 5, 7, 8 range, which doesn't feel like it has a major impact. But when you're talking about a couple million cards across the entire series, that difference between a 2-3 and a 5-7 has a different weight. Yes, it doesn't have the rookies because those rookies were primarily placed into the cool cats. But as I said, there were still 6 cards. The minimum value is over the $100. And then the 4 number 1s, the 11 perfect scores, those don't go into the expected value. It's just too difficult to try to price those because there's so little actual trading of those cards. So I'm not trying to guess them. So I go with a bit more of a conservative approach and just using the lowest price. But I think it's still exciting just to know, like, hey, you have those potential things that you can pull.
Yeah, thanks for that info. We've also got a question, I think a decent question from Nick. We talked about the cool cats briefly, but we did not necessarily touch on this aspect of it. So the question is, any thoughts on the utility of the cool cats beyond the challenges? So you got a serial 15 Tobias. That's a nice one there. But does that have value outside of the challenge? And I think this is a good question, and it's something that we've discussed, right? And a lot of how it came up in the discussion was, does it make sense that Devin Booker is so much more expensive than the other cool cats? Or is the only purpose of the cool cats their utility that they provide in this challenge? And my personal view is that a lot of the utility is with regards to the challenge. However, now with this master challenge, I'm hopeful, and maybe this is just me as a Cool Cats owner, but I'm hopeful that that gives it some long-term potential as well for a few reasons. Number one, right, when we're 2 months from now and it's Cool Cats 4 and there's new people that are coming into the market, if they want a chance at completing the Master Cool Cats, they're going to have to do so by buying up the past ones. So I think that gives it some long-term potential. And I just think the fact that there's this Master Challenge associated with it, the fact that there's going to be this Master Cool Cat rookie LaMelo, I think that there's a potential that the Cool Cats brand, has some coolness to it long-term in terms of the common cards. Right. That's one of my thoughts on it. I don't know if what you think, Justin.
Yeah. So 2 things there. Is Justin drinking maple syrup?
That's what I was just laughing at. I almost spit out my maple syrup as I saw that.
I am drinking Trader Joe's hard kombucha. It's good on the stomach and gives me a little buzz.
Nate, Justin needs his brain to be 100% sharp at all times, so we do not allow him to drink alcohol, only maple syrup. We run a tight ship here at Own the Moment.
All right. So my thoughts here is during the challenge, you are going to be hard pressed to find someone who's going to pay enough of the value that it's worth it for a Serial 15, Tobias. I think after the challenge, you just have to consider what would that card have been if it was not part of that moment, if it not been part of the challenge at all. Just zooming into your drink.
Sorry. No, well, I've got two computers going, and my computer that has my pack going started to fall asleep, and I just panicked, like, oh my God, what if I lose my spot in line? That's what happened. Full transparency. Keep going. Sorry.
And so I think afterwards you just kind of consider, okay, what would a Tobias Harris card normally be worth? What would it be worth now that it's a 5,000? So kind of do some comparisons as you can there, and then think what the 15 is. So I think, yes, that 15, that's a great bet. If you asked me if it was a 150 or a 550, like something like that, I'm not as much bullish on those, but I think 15 is legitimate. That's enough to move the needle. Now, I don't think you're not going to get enough of the value that you should if you were to try to sell that during the challenge. But afterwards, I think, yeah, that'll still hold whatever the value is. Now, it's still going to drop down comparatively for what everything else is when it's no longer needed for a challenge, but that level will still be helpful. Second thing I'm seeing is that people in Discord are saying that there's potentially a backdoor for a second, and that there's been some issues where people, after they got there first, were able to very quickly and skip the line to get their second. So I'm not looking at you, Brufella.
No, you are, because you just admitted to it in the chat.
All right, so there you go. All right, so let me read this real quick. Okay, so it looks like once you get your spot in line, you can go back in line and purchase until you time out. I just tried to buy that second one, then it booted me to the queue. I started around 9K for reference. So very interesting. So as I said, like, I will be a great test subject for this because I was 24,148, assuming everything went right. No one cut lines or jumped the lines or whatever. And not that this is anyone doing it on purpose. It's just the system working that way. I should be able to get a pack. If I do not, we will know that Brufella will send me his pack and we'll all be happy. Now, we'll go from there.
I'm just gonna do this stuff as you talk. Like, I'm just
so that works.
This up. Thanks, Brufella. Appreciate you bringing the content to the show tonight. It actually was very helpful.
Let's do this real quick. Does anyone have questions that they want us to ask? Wades.eth tomorrow, because we are still kind of putting that together. TJ and I kind of making sure that we want to make it as valuable as possible, because there's a lot of things that we personally want to learn from him based off his experiences. But if there is anyone in the chat that wants to ask him, please let us know. We will collect it and likely add it.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that conversation. We've got a couple fun guests lined up over the course of the next couple weeks. Our goal is to continue bringing those to the table. We're not going to reveal any of them at the moment.
We got a big name for next week, though. I don't want to say it yet, but yeah, that's going to be fun to do.
By the way, throw that teaser out there.
Yeah, so 20 Rick, no worries at all. This is all a very new space. But so Wades.eth was one of the OGs in this space. In the alpha version, so I mean like pre-beta, there were, I think, around 100, maybe even less people. And so he was one of the original ones there. I think he has built his account up from around $2,700 to potentially over $1 million, depending on what he's bought and sold. He is currently a referee in the Discord, so he's very active there. And then I think he's I know heavily involved like in the crypto NFT from an experience standpoint, but we're honestly looking to learn a lot more about him as well. But he's someone that got in contact with us just from the show, and someone that we've heard fantastic things about, and we're excited to learn as much as we can.
Yeah, he's for sure one of the OGs when it comes to NBA Top Shot. I'm gonna look up his info, but I think he's got he's got a lot going on.
Yep.
I think, like Justin said, close to $1 million or so in account valuation. I think he's got tens of thousands of moments to his account. So we're gonna be learning a lot more about him tomorrow. And to answer Michael's question here in the chat is that we typically will try to go live and then turn it into a podcast. This is just a spontaneous live show, but our typical thing is to record live, turn into a podcast. But tomorrow we will not be live.
I understood that to be him asking about the Wades.eth interview. So either way, but that will not be live. It'll only be a podcast just because he's in Australia. So we're doing that pretty early tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. And then we'll just put that as a on YouTube as well as podcasts.
Yeah.
So we've been paused for a while. I'm a little concerned. I'm still at 2,900.
Line is paused.
Yeah. But it's been like that for a little bit now.
Yeah.
How did he get into the alpha? That's a great question. I believe it was just as the same way we are now able to get into the alpha of the MMA if you sign up for the link. I think it was probably just the early days, and Dapper Labs was just like, hey, we're looking for people who, are going to be early adopters and experiment. And my guess is that there was not a lot of people competing for that. It was probably just a sign up and you're in. And I mean, there were days early on where you had legendary packs. You had some of these top packs just sitting in the marketplace. They're currently working with what do they deal with some of those minted moments, because just nobody bought them. They just kind of overestimated the amount of demand, and the supply was just greater. And so they just kind of had to either burn them, or they're going to take some and push it back in the marketplace soon. But like early on, like, hey, you're going to go spend $240 some on a legendary pack when what is your level of confidence that that's going to be worth anything more than just an image on a screen? Like that's the people who were doing this, like they were making bets, and yeah, they weren't having to bet with as much from a financial standpoint, but it was a lot higher risk investment given how little they knew about the market, how much, how just early on everything was.
Yeah. I think Evan said something really smart in the chat here. He said that this video needs more likes. So
just shilling, just shilling.
So head over to the YouTube channel, hit the video with a like, hit the subscribe button, follow us on Twitter.
I want someone.
Evan, your Venmo for saying that will be coming shortly, since I paid you to say that. But no, we appreciate it, Evan. Thank you for the positive feedback, and we appreciate you listening very much.
I want someone who's in this chat tonight to win the Luca tomorrow. And so I want to make sure everyone in here is at least entered into that contest. As TJ said, all you got to do is just go on the profile on the Twitter, and you'll see you got to retweet, follow what Wade's instructions were. And I think it's subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. And also, TJ, his name is not Wade, right? I just want to throw it out there.
I do not know what his name is. No, okay. I've just been referring to him as Wade's because I do not know his real name.
Wade's comes from his fandom of Dwayne Wade.
Okay. Do you know his name?
I don't, and that's why I was hoping you did. But we'll find out. That's what
I didn't. He seems, he seems like a very private guy. So I wasn't trying to pry too hard. Honestly, I just appreciate him taking the time. But yeah, I just been calling him Wade's because I don't know what else to say. But
I like Nate's question. Hey, producer Coop, can you take some notes and track that for us for tomorrow?
I like that.
Hey TJ, what was your eureka moment?
Yeah, I was actually going to say that. So my eureka moment was when it was probably, I guess, a little over two weeks ago now, when we first started stumbling upon this. The first thing that had me hearing about NBA Top Shot was some of the big sales that were going on. Someone named Jonathan Bales, who is a big name in the daily fantasy sports industry, wrote a tweet and a blog post about how he purchased a $35,000 Ja Morant moment. That is the first time that I was like, oh, that's interesting and crazy, but also there might be something here. Started doing a little bit more research after that. But the real aha moment for me was when I first got set up on the site and we were going to the marketplace, and I just saw, I think there were two things. First, I just saw how many transactions were happening and how many people were actively on the platform. And I thought that was very encouraging. But then the thing where I was really like, oh, wow, this is definitely a thing. And it's going to sound funny now, but there was, I think the first pack drop that we were trying to take a part of was 8,000 packs. And I was right there on my computer, ready to go, and clicked the buy now button, I thought, right at the second that the packs dropped. And I did not get one. And I was like, oh, wow, there's more than 8,000 people that threw aside the rest of their day to sit at their computer to try and get a pack. Like there's something here. And once I just got into the vibe of it, like you can just feel how, I don't know. I just think it's fun. I think people are going to think it's fun. I think that pack drops are going to continue to be a fun event that people plan their evenings around. Hopefully, tech issues permitting. I think it's going to become more of not a technical sweat, but hey, I hope I get the pack sweat. And I think that piece of random variance is going to be great for the ecosystem and the longevity of this whole thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm looking back at my tweets actually. So January 13th, and I'm going to pull this up as well because I think it's pretty interesting. Use myself just to look back and think through what my thought process was. Give me a second. We can pull this up. All right. So this was probably shortly after you had the Jonathan Bales announcement of the job purchase and a couple others. And so my background, I've actually worked in blockchain technology for the past 6 years now. That sounds crazy. But more from an enterprise side and helping like large companies adopt the blockchain side of it from a technology, not so much the crypto. But from a personal standpoint, I mean, really interested in what it's done from an ecosystem wise. And so I heard about the investment with the Bales purchase. And so I started just kind of thinking about, okay, what is the other side of this? Because when you have speculative investments, a lot of them successful in the short term, but I wanted to think about what is the risk here? What's the downside? When have we seen such hype and excitement, but then just complete crash? And so I started kind of asking around like, okay, what about the old example for Bitcoin is always the tulip craze, where back in, I don't know even what the years are, but tulips were highly valued and they became their just greatest assets. But then they just disappeared and people realized like, this is silly. Beanie Babies, we can say, that was from a, more recent time period. They, became very popular. You had people actually fighting in stores for them. You could sell them. There were the misprint ideas. They were kind of that, I wouldn't even say speculative asset, but just the kind of collectible that had the high value. And at one point just kind of crashed. Beyond those though, people really, we struggle to come up with some examples. And so that was part of my initial thinking. So I think that just shows that I kind of took a risk averse approach to this first. The second thing I wanted to show is, so I'm looking here and I'm like, okay, so now we have Peter Jennings made his tweet about that he purchased a James Harden Cosmic for $10,000. And I'm trying to think about, okay, so what does this market actually look like? Because I started thinking, okay, so if they're Harden, there's 25 of that play, you're looking at 250,000. How many highlights will there actually be? Before I kind of dove into the technology and the site and realizing that there aren't going to be, 200 across a career, maybe there might be 50, 100 or so. Like, can you actually have a $50 million opportunity for one player, like $1 billion for an entire, the all-stars, those top ones? And that was kind of my thought process, was trying to map this out at first, thinking like, hey, what is the risk here? What makes this actually just kind of crash and burn? Then once I got a little more, all right, there's something to this, I started looking, okay, well, how big can this actually get? Similar to when you're investing in venture capital, you want to be going after those 100x investments. You're not trying to do it just for the 5, 10x. And so I wanted to make sure that if I was going to put substantial money into this, that this had a legitimate opportunity to get that, if not 100x, at least something like 20, 30, 40x. Because if I'm just trying to get a quick, 2, 3x, there's better ways to do that have significantly less risk. So I'm looking for a long-term investment here that has that opportunity. And once I better understood the site, when I had more confidence in the team and that they weren't going to just, just flood the market with tons and tons of just, assets, just that kills the value. That's when I kind of had my eureka moment.
Yep. I think that it's definitely a very relatable story to myself and to everyone else here. That you've worked in blockchain technology for 7 years now, so you're very familiar with that side of things, and this is just kind of the perfect culmination between the sports world, fantasy sports world, and the emergence and new use cases of the blockchain technology. But I think that we have some sad news to break, and that is because multiple people in the chat, as well as multiple people via text message, have confirmed that it is sold out. If we are still online, it appears it still just says that we're paused, but that's, yeah, I mean, they definitely still didn't get it right again, right? Because they clearly missed out on a user journey where somebody gets through and is able to purchase a pack on the first go, but then is able to get back into that flow and go ahead. So I see producer Coop laughing at me in the background. but not to get into full real work mode, but that's what happened, right? It's a simple user. I feel like I'm in my day job, but hey, it is what it is. It happens. I'm confident that they will find a way to make it up to folks that feel that they were wronged here. And hey, it is what it is. Congrats to the people out there that were able to get 2 packs. That's sharp.
And I mean, hey, at the end of the day, and we were joking about this earlier, TJ.
22K. Oof. Yeah. See, this is what's tough, man. They need to, you can't keep having people come in and have a really bad experience. That's what's a problem, right? It's, you don't want to lose somebody because the platform's not ready yet. It's a tough spot. It is.
Yeah.
It is immense growth in a very short time, and clearly they're struggling with keeping up with that.
And who knows? The last time this happened with the Cool Cats, they took the people who weren't able to get one and got a pack the next time. So maybe they'll do something like that to make it right. But I mean, TJ, we were joking about this earlier. At the end of the day, the expected value of one of these, we said, is $46 off of a $9 purchase. So $37. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And this is more for the fun aspect. We especially wanted the packs just because we want to have packs always available to rip on stream for our various pods and stuff. So, it stinks, but we take it with a grain of salt. I think it's far more that, hey, people spent, a day or two doing the F5 refreshes. They finally get there. You got 2 people in here that see that they were 22K in line. There's 25K packs. So you're definitely going to get one. And then find out that because of some technology issues, people were able to kind of, skip the line that second time through, which is obviously just a tech issue. So downside about all this really is I don't think we're going to see the Holo release just yet. Because if this does not seem like it went perfectly smooth, which they were probably hoping. So I think they'll probably take a little more time to make sure they get this right before they take a lot bigger deal with, those, whatever the price ends up being, but those legendary packs.
Yeah. So, it is what it is. I think that it would be fun if the next time that there's a pack drop that we hop on a stream like this again. I think we kind of realized throughout the course of the night that we were just sitting around our computers waiting, and there's probably plenty of other people around that are sitting around waiting. So the next time that we have a rumored pack drop, we will plan to get on stream here to talk things through with you guys, go through this experience together, hopefully see that. Oh, here we go. Hey, there you go. I think I like your chances at 66,000 people.
Well, but let's pause. Are those 66,000 unique users? I didn't even know they had that many.
No, that can't be possible. I don't know.
But I think this just shows how much interest
there's a lot of interest
in $9 packs. And I can't even imagine how many times F5 or refresh or function R, whatever you have on your computer, was hit over the past 48 hours.
Yeah, it's I hit refresh a lot of the time. It's like, I know it's not coming till 8 o'clock supposedly, but I'm still at like 7:45 refreshing, like, just in case, and like all day yesterday. So It's fun. It is a little disappointing when you do not end in a pack, but I think that, at least for me, I'm taking the view of that there's going to be a lot of these moments, and sometimes you're going to get the pack and sometimes you're not, and that's just going to be how it goes over time. To me, that's part of the fun of this. It's part of the game, right? It's part, that's how you get involved. You have to roll the dice and roll the right numbers, get the pack, and then you get started. And if not, then you try again the next time. And I like that aspect, right? And it's not like we had to still pay the $9 and don't get a pack. Like, yeah, we lost our time, but the time was fun for me. I don't know, it's a fun thing to do. It kept me entertained all night.
And I think if the 22K people got their pack, oh shit. Wait,
what'd you do?
Okay. No, I wanted to make sure that I didn't
share screen.
I still have mine up just in case, because I'm seeing that maybe it's not, maybe it goes through. Who knows? I'm still keeping it up. So advice to others, maybe to hold the line, stay in your line just in case, because that was Alexander Beauchamp, who earlier said 22K in line.
And you got through. Yeah, I'm not touching this thing.
So maybe we'll see if Nate Stevens is next, hopefully, because it seems like he was in the second half of the 22Ks. But one other thing I was going to mention, TJ, one thing I've realized about this is, so we come from daily fantasy sports kind of backgrounds in the content side, which is a very competitive world where, pretty much you're competing against every other person. And so when I'm entering a daily fantasy sports contest, like there might be 100,000 people and those are all my competitors. This has such the opposite feel because there's such that community, the unity, and there's actually value to going out and bringing 5 friends or 10 friends to the ecosystem, because the more that we get into this, the more that's going to get demand for cards. There's going to be more marketplace sales. Like this gives so much more of an incentive to say like, hey, we're all in this together, rather than that kind of dog eat dog that you felt in the DFS streets.
Yeah, that's a great point, right? There's no direct competition that goes on. It's not a zero-sum game where if somebody wins, that means that somebody on the other side has to lose. It really is something that everyone can get involved in together. And yeah, I think that is another very promising thing for it. I think an important thing will be for the Top Shot team to continue to find ways in the future of providing different opportunities at different price points. I think that you can't continue to have it be that it's, $2,000 to complete a challenge. But I don't know how they go about fixing that. But I would love if there's some way where there's a challenge that comes in that's somehow at a lower price point. Maybe that's just never going to be possible. But I don't know. I have faith that they're going to come up with different creative things over time. And that's why I'm not really sweating any of the small things early on. I'm not sweating not getting the pack tonight, not sweating all of the technical issues or the slight downturn in the market that has happened over the past couple of days, because that's going to happen. There's always going to be ups and downs. Yeah, there was a week where it seemed like prices were going up 50%, 100% every single day, but we all knew that wasn't sustainable. And I think there was a healthy pullback, and it seems to me like over the past couple of days, things have stabilized a bit. I think that the Cool Cats Challenge after that is going to be interesting to see what happens, because that's been definitely a hot topic in the marketplace and a big focus for everyone. So what happens after the Cool Cats, I'll be interested to see that. I just had my page refresh and say sold out. I don't know about yours. Yep. It's official. It's official.
Oh, I should have. We got this. We could screen grab it later, just in case we need a show. Let's see, who was the other person? Nate Stevens. Were you able to get through? I know you said you were also 22. Fingers crossed for you. Let's do quick and rapid fire. A couple of the questions that just came through. I'll start and work my way up. First with Nick Bird. We did mention this earlier, so my guess is I think it's going to be around 2,500. The clues that we have are: one, they said expect some sticker shock. So I think that's an expectation setter that was done. Two is, I don't remember if it was Roham or one of their leaders said that when they've been talking to some of the, high rollers about what they would expect a legendary pack to go for, they got the number of 10,000. I don't think that was a consensus viewpoint, but I think that was done to kind of say, hey, when we come in at a lower price point, but our people said 10,000, so I think we're kind of getting that range. I then was taking a look at the prices in the marketplace for what you have for the hollows and some of the other legendaries. Now, granted, these are Series 1, but just to kind of get an idea of, hey, where would they be able to price it so that the people who get it are, there's still an incentive to get in line and for people to get it. They still want that. Just like a restaurant, you want the line out the door. But not to the point that they don't want people to get these just to flip them. They want people who are going to get them, hold on them for the most part as a long-term investment, put some in the marketplace and get some transactions, but nothing, crazy. Second one is the hardened market cap. So if you take a look at my past tweets from, I think, January 13th, the way that I was just approaching, I was just talking through how I kind of approached my entry into this market. And the hardened example was just saying that, hey, I heard that the hardened moment went for 10,000. If there are 50 of those, that means you're looking at, $500,000 right there. If you then say that he has how many moments across his career, if it's 200, maybe we'll say 100. Now you're looking at, okay, that's a $50 million market cap of just James Harden. Now, if you assume that there's maybe 25 other players with a similar one, you're talking, $1.5 billion or so for a market cap just for those top 25. And my question was, is that sustainable? Like, is there enough that people are willing to own and invest in these moments for players and have over $1.5 billion? Once I started looking at it, I got a bit more confidence that they're not going to just flood the market with a ton of moments, and you're not going to see 200 for a player. You're going to see substantially less, and there's varying degrees. There's only maybe one cosmic of that player or one legendary of that player a year. So once I learned more, I think that's where I had my eureka. But I just kind of wanted to talk through my process of evaluating this market before I made a substantial investment.
Alrighty. Anything else that you wanted to touch on, Justin? We've been on stream for just over an hour now. The packs are officially sold out. Hopefully you guys were able to get your hands on some. Unfortunately, we were not, but we are hopeful that maybe that will bring us some luck in the legendary pack drop instead, and we'll catch the run good on that end. But any final words for the people, Justin, or any final questions in the chat that you saw that you would like to make sure we touch on?
Let's give a quick recap of what we've been doing, what people can see. So TJ's been putting out some great Top Shot shorts, which are just kind of anywhere between 5 and 15 minutes on the YouTube channel, really just talking about either what happened that day, or what was an interesting thing that happened, what was a release, or maybe more from an educational standpoint. So check those out, see if any of them are interesting to you. Let's see what else. Looking forward, we have a data analyst and an MBA analyst that have joined the team. So we're going to try to get a little more action from them, either on the pods, actually to talk about some of the MBA more related things, so maybe trades, maybe with regards to how we can take advantage of the preseason. Preseason or during the season awards. Maybe some of the all-star voting we just saw came out today, but we want to get some actual MBA talk on, and we want to bring someone on who is extremely knowledgeable on that subject. From the data analyst side, we're going to continue to bring, pump the numbers both on Twitter as well as through the pods and streams to show you what we can really, how can we learn from the different trends? Where can we kind of make our investments around that? And there's a couple other things that I'd say are in progress that I don't want to kind of tease too much because they're still in development, but there's a lot more coming that I'm pretty excited about.
Absolutely, man. A lot going on here. I will quickly share the tweet that we are referring to from Wade's, as Nick has asked in the chat. So for those of you that maybe did not hear it earlier in the show, tomorrow morning, Justin and I will be recording a podcast with user Wades.eth, the mystery man himself from Australia, the man with an account valuation that nears $1 million, one of the original gangsters of NBA Top Shot. We'll be sitting down with him, and he is very generously gifting a Series 1 Luka Doncic card. We did the math, and it's what, $600 or $700 on the market, Justin?
It was $620 because the market's gone up. I'd guess it's probably now around $700.
It's one that you're going to want. So he's got a little contest going here. In order to do so, go to our Twitter at OwnTheMomentNFT. Find this tweet, retweet this tweet, tagging Wade's, tagging Gary V, because I don't really know, but we're trying to get Gary's attention, and subscribe to us on the YouTube channel. Those are the three things. We will be putting all of those users into a raffle, and we will be wrapping up our podcast tomorrow by announcing the winner, and that winner will be gifted this Series 1 Luka Doncic. So awesome giveaway there. Very much appreciated to Wades.eth for being so generous in offering that up to our community. I think that's it. So for Justin, we'll be back at it shortly. So for Justin Herzig, for producer Coop behind the scenes, I am TJ Lasig. We will talk to you guys soon.